Coming up next on Eyewitness News, 2 people shot in broad daylight in a Chinatown jewelry store. And President Reagan prepares to do budget battle with the Congress in a crucial meeting.
Also ahead tonight on Eyewitness News, the mess on Wall Street extends through the weekend. Brokers at their jobs even on Sunday. Plus, the NFL regulars are back at work playing football before packed houses. And does Prince Charles have a new love interest? Next on Eyewitness News.
You're watching Channel 7 Eyewitness News with John Marler and Rolanda Watts. Scott Clark has sports, Dr. Bill Gutch with weather, and the Eyewitness News team. Now, Eyewitness News.
Good evening. 2 people were critically injured as a robbery turned into a shooting in Lower Manhattan this afternoon. And right now, police are looking for 3 men who shot 2 people in a Chinatown jewelry store robbery attempt.
The team remains hospitalized tonight under close watch. Meanwhile, the search continues tonight for
a crowded street. The suspects turned around and shot her in the chest. Then a man from another store came to her aid, and he was shot in the abdomen. Both of the victims are in critical condition right now at Beekman Hospital. The suspects police are looking for got away on motorcycles.
Most weekends, Wall Street is deserted, but not this weekend. Today, brokers and traders return to their desks for a 7th straight day on the job. They're still trying to dig out from underneath the mounds of paperwork that accumulated last week. Today, the chairman of the New York Stock Exchange said last week's record drop was a sign the economy needs some special attention.
And the stage is set tonight for a crash bipartisan effort to cut the federal deficit. President Reagan today went back to the White House, where first thing tomorrow he's going to meet with congressional leaders in the effort to deal with the economic alarm sounded on Wall Street. Both Congress and the president must deal with shaken confidence in the economy and with the calls for stronger leadership from both branches of government. The Democratic chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee says a plan to deal with the deficit is absolutely essential.
I think what we've got to do is build confidence in what we're doing in Washington. If there was a reason why Wall Street started screaming on Monday and Tuesday, was because of the lack of direction.
And one of the most serious options under consideration by the White House is a freeze on most federal spending levels. Tax hikes and other revenue measures will also be considered in the effort to trim the federal deficit by at least $23 billion this year.
A woman who was once a powerful voice of American foreign policy in the Reagan administration says the White House is not in her future. Jean Kirkpatrick says she will not run for the Republican presidential nomination in 1988. The former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations says she made that decision for personal and political reasons. You may recall that Mrs. Kirkpatrick often took a hard-line anti-communist approach in her foreign policy positions.
A major focus of this country's foreign policy is dealing with the Soviets, and of course President Reagan has to deal with the snag in his plan for a summit with Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev. Today, Secretary of State George Shultz said if the Soviets keep putting obstacles in the way of an arms control agreement, there may not be another summit during the presidency of Ronald Reagan.
I think a summit is desirable. Good things happen. On the other hand, the substance, the human rights substance, the regional issues substance, the arms control substance, that's the underlying substantive thing that's important. And a summit is a good sign, and people will welcome it. But we'll have it when he's ready, or if he waits too long, maybe we won't be ready.
Shultz is just back to the United States after meeting with Soviet leader Gorbachev. He returned last night. And today, the Soviet newspaper Pravda said a superpower summit could still be held if Washington, D.C. agrees to limit Star Wars. In the troubled Middle East, there's a report tonight that Egypt may be about to provide military help to Kuwait. The Sunday Times in London says that 70 Egyptian pilots and support personnel have arrived in Kuwait, which has been attacked in the past 11 days by Iranian missiles. And for its help, Egypt would reportedly be getting $20 million in aid. Tensions are high in Jerusalem, where ultra-Orthodox Jews have clashed with police armed with tear gas and water cannons. The religious groups are protesting against the showing of films on Fridays and Saturdays. They charge that desecrates the Jewish Sabbath. Police used force to arrest protesters who were throwing stones and blocking traffic.
We have a lot more ahead for you tonight on Eyewitness News. Coming up, why New York City's black community has been hit hard by AIDS. There was an important meeting today, and we'll have a report for you.
Plus, there are new reports tonight that Britain's Prince Charles may have a close female friend who is distracting him from Princess Di. And Scott Clark with the big day in sports. The Jets and Giants back on the gridiron.
Second.
Doctors in St. Louis now believe that a 15-year-old boy who died there in 1969 died of AIDS. Now, if they are right, the death from AIDS came 10 years before the first official diagnosis of the disease. Doctors had saved tissue samples from the black teenager because they were so puzzled by his illness. Well, here in New York, concern about AIDS in the black community prompted a gathering in Brooklyn today, and David Navarro was there.
According to recent statistics, New York City's black population has been hit and hit hard by the AIDS epidemic. As of September of this year, over 11,500 cases of AIDS have been reported in New York City. Of those cases, 31% are black.
The black community has been hit due mainly to the high incidence of IV drug use.
These alarming numbers brought together over 400 concerned health officials today to an AIDS seminar at the State University of New York Health Science Center. The conference was sponsored by the Provident Clinical Society of Brooklyn, an affiliate of the National Medical Association, which represents more than 14,000 black physicians in the United States.
Hope is to brain trust so that we can come up with innovative steps to attack the problem of AIDS in the black population.
With a growing number of minorities incurring the disease, some black officials are now also worried that this virus will be used as another discriminating tool.
There's a possibility that you might be denied a job. There's a whole issue of health insurance and whether or not you can get insurance. There's the issue of whether or not you'll have to be tested in order to do certain kinds of things in society.
Health officials coordinating today's conference are predicting that by the year 1990, at least one member in every black household in the United States will have one form or another of the AIDS virus. They feel now is the time to mobilize the black community through education and awareness before it's too late. Reporting in Brooklyn, David Navarro, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Members of the Provident Society promise that this is just the beginning. They say that other sessions will be held to further educate the black community on coping with AIDS.
And the story tonight of a family in Oklahoma that certainly believes in miracles. A story of daughters born as Siamese twins, but daughters who are going home from the hospital separated. Faith and Hope Cox were born in December of last year, attached at the abdomen. They shared part of a liver, but they were separated the day after their birth, and after several operations since then, the 10-month-old girls are going home for the first time, and with a clean bill of health.
Well, some owners of Mercedes-Benz cars say they're having the same problems that put Audis in the spotlight last year. That problem, unintended acceleration. The Center for Auto Safety wants a federal probe into complaints of 55 Mercedes drivers. They say their cars went out of control when they shifted their car from park to drive or reversed. Now, last year, you may remember, the feds found no problem with the Mercedes 300E, that despite similar complaints.
And an acceleration of rumors from Britain tonight. Rumors that the fairy tale romance of the world's most famous couple is ending. The British tabloids are saying that Prince Charles and Lady Di are having serious marital troubles and that Charles has turned to another woman. The rival seen here with the prince during a recent vacation in Scotland. Her name, Lady Dale Tryon, 38, an old girlfriend of the prince's. Lady Di is said to be most unhappy about their relationship.
Well, you're not alone if you're preparing for next week's New York Marathon. Still ahead tonight on Eyewitness News, a warm-up race for the runners who are looking to go the distance on Sunday.
Plus, the regular Jets went the distance today against the Redskins. Scott Clark with highlights and the rest of sports when we come back.
Why didn't you mind?
Sal, you have your play money on the Twins tonight?
Who says that I wager anything on sports?
Well, Monopoly money.
Sal is demanding a symbol.
He's going to duck the question.
Yeah, Joe's a different story, however.
I think the Twins have the inside track.
Joe Santilli will tell us whether this glorious weather will continue.
Tonight, Tonight, the city is admitting that it has all but lost its battle to house prisoners at the Maritime Union Building. Instead, it looks as if Covenant House will get the facility. It's located on 9th Avenue at 17th Street. Covenant House wants to use the building as a shelter for runaway teens, and it will probably have hundreds of young people living there before the city can seize that building through condemnation. Well, farther uptown on Manhattan's east side, there were some angry tenants out protesting against a major city landlord today.
On the move, a report in the Newark Star-Ledger says the Yankees are going to sue the city of New York tomorrow because of a lack of parking space at Yankee Stadium. That lawsuit, we are told, could allow the team to break its lease, which right now commits the Yankees to play ball in New York until the year 2002. Now, coincidentally, in just 2 weeks, people who live in New Jersey will vote on a proposal to build a new baseball stadium in the Meadowlands. Of course, that's leading to a lot of speculation that that could then become the new home of the Yankees. What's going to happen? Well, first of all, we find out if the Yankees file that lawsuit against the city of New York tomorrow, so stay tuned. More on that tomorrow. It is down to the final week of preparations for runners in the New York City Marathon. 3,000 runners got together today. It was a 5-mile practice in Central Park, checking out the track, checking out the clock, and perhaps most importantly, checking out the competition. The race now scheduled for next week.
Things always heat up when Billy Martin comes back, right? They're in the works. They're in the works. We're not talking about the Jets for a second, but because Billy Martin's going to be on our show tonight. He's going to be at 11:45 or so when the World Series is over on the Eyewitness Sports Weekend. We have him ready. We're going to be talking to him just a little while. But every time Billy Martin comes back, it seems that everything happens. Lou Piniella and Billy Martin, special guests tonight on the Eyewitness Sports Weekend. Now, with that out of the way and our plugs already duly done, we talk about the real NFL football. It's back. The Jets had a real good chance of beating the Redskins for the very first time in Washington this afternoon. But the Redskins came back in the fourth quarter, erased a 9-point deficit, and beat the Jets 17-16. Now, some of the fans still trying to make up their minds on the regulars returning. Some questions, but the Redskins turned hometown doubters around. Scored first. Jay Schrader to Gary Clark, beating Jerry Holmes. 20-yard touchdown, and the Redskins had a 7-3 lead at the half. But in the third quarter, the Jets get a spark off this punt by the Skins. Back waiting is JoJo Townsend. First a fake to the right and then off to the left. Down the sideline, a 44-yard return. He had a couple of them today. That set up a field goal, making it 7-6. Major concerns still about the Jets' offensive line. The Redskins sacked Kenny O'Brien 7 times, 3 of them coming from Charles Mann, number 71. And you talk about a problem, Joe Walton's got one. Moments later, though, after the Jets recovered a fumble, O'Brien cashes in on the turnover. Hits Mickey Schuler for 15 yards. The Jets had the lead 13-7. But Bell Thompson, the Colts and Patriots tied for first place in the East. Well, he has been gone for 11 months now. Ladies and gentlemen, though, the wild man, Jim McMahon, is back. With his team headed down the drain in Tampa Bay today, McMahon came off the bench and he led the Bears back to a 27-26 come-from-behind victory over the Bucs. The Bucs started dazzling, though, the Bears at first, off the reverse quarter. Trailing 26-14 in the fourth, called his own number, got the Bears to within 6. He ended up 16 for 24 for 195 yards, but he completed all 6 of his passes in the crucial final drive. To Neil Anderson for the clincher, Jim McMahon, the hero for the Bears, in a 27-26 comeback victory. In New Orleans, the Saints thought they had an upset in hand against the 49ers. Trailing, beat Atlanta today 37-33. Warren Moon had a touchdown pass to Curtis Duncan for 14 yards with just 27 seconds to go. The real players come back, and they come down to barn burners most of the time now. Buffalo, get this one, Buffalo beat Miami 34-33 in an upset in overtime. Scott Norwood, a 27-yard field goal to win it for Buffalo over the Dolphins. Cincinnati lost to Pittsburgh after the Bengals had a big lead. The final there was 23. Dallas lost to Philadelphia. The final there was 37-20. The Eagles beat the Cowboys. In the third quarter, are leading the Cardinals right now in the fourth quarter easily, 20-0 with the regulars back. All right, for the third straight year, the World Series. It's going to go the full 7 games. No series has ever seen the home team win each game. That could happen tonight, though, if the Twins beat the Cardinals. 162 games plus the playoffs, and then it all comes down to tonight. Green is going to be one of those men. Tonight, he starts for the Cardinals. He's going to face the Twins ace, Frank Viola, a local man who's going to get a lot of local support. The man from St. John's, a graduate, Frank Viola from Hempstead, Long Island, the pride of Hempstead. You can see it all right here on Channel 7. The coverage begins at 8 o'clock, followed by Eyewitness News right after. Hey, some wild racing today in the NASCAR American 500 in Rockingham. The top winds down. I have a correction for you. The Jets are not 2-4, they're 3-3. I think I said 2-4 before. So all you Jets fans, I think the switchboard's lit up. It's, hey, give us some credit here. World Series tonight. We're going to have some fun with it.
No more phone calls, please.
Yeah,
thanks, Scott.
hold all calls.
What a great end of the weekend. We had blue skies today, we had sunshine, but what about the next 5 days? When we come back, Bill Gutch with the forecast.
Also ahead tonight on Eyewitness News, the United Nations goes to New Jersey for some good old all-American. We had a beautiful day today, beautiful day yesterday, and New York, everybody seems to be enjoying this. The streets are just buzzing.
Yeah, autumn in New York. It is the time of year to be here, I think. And we actually had a better day today than I anticipated in forecast for last night. We did not get the rain this morning. But we won't complain about that, right? Okay.
That also means it's on the way, right?
Well, ultimately, yes, some will get us. But that skipped over us, and it's gone. So we have to worry about the next one. But that won't be until late Tuesday and on into Wednesday. Until then, it continues nice. Let's take a look at our current data. And it is the end of a gorgeous day here in Midtown, 56 degrees. Now it's dark outside because we're back on standard time. The humidity, 37%, quite low. A nice crisp air mass coming in, barometer rising, indication of the fact that we're probably going to get a little bit more of clear skies out of this before it turns foul again, and indeed we will, 2 more days. And the winds are west at 10 miles an hour. Let's take a look at a satellite image, and we'll kind of sector off the coast first to talk about the cloud band that was moving in last night for the late news, and we expect it to hang with us through the morning hours and probably bring some showers toward dawn and into the morning. Well, it did indeed pass through, but moved through rapidly, and so it was moving out to sea just as the sun came up for most portions of the viewing area. Radar actually shows some showers falling from these clouds over us between about 2:30 a.m. and about 5:30 a.m., but the vast majority of that just never reached the ground. Sometimes if there isn't enough moisture in the clouds, the rain will fall in the cloud, but it'll evaporate before it reaches the ground, and that's what happened here. So we had a better than expected Sunday, and let's kind of move a little west, and we'll sector to the national satellite image if we can. And there's a large bubble of high pressure in here. This will give us a clear but rather chilly night tonight. I'm anticipating the low 40s in the city and along coastal areas, through the 30s and even some upper 20s well to the north and west of town. And then tomorrow, more high pressure for us, and so a gorgeous day with lots of sunshine, low humidity, crisp fall conditions, just gorgeous with high temperatures in the 50s. Tomorrow night clear, not quite as cold. Tuesday, we're going to start out very nice. Then this high pressure will be drifting off the coast, but still sunshine on the back end of it for Tuesday morning. And finally, some increasing cloudiness and probably some showers by Tuesday night into the day on Wednesday. In the forecast, as we begin the new week, clear and rather cold tonight with low around 42 city and coast, through the 30s, down into the 20s, north and west of town. Tomorrow, a sunny and gorgeous day with high temperatures in the 50s. Clear tomorrow night, not quite as cold, 45 city and coast to the 30s inland. And Tuesday, sunshine followed by increasing cloudiness. Those next batch of showers could hit us by late in the day. Let's hope they'll wait until evening. 58 to 65 for a high. Wednesday's a rainy day. Sun comes back for Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
Not bad.
Thanks, you, Bill.
Finally tonight, international relations have taken on a new tone in the Garden State. The town of Mountain Lakes, New Jersey, hosted a night of square dancing. It was attended by some of the representatives to the United Nations. It was an evening where people from different nations could swing, promenade, and do-si-do. Thanks to organizers who saw this as a way to forget the world's problems for a night and to learn to dance.
I like it very much, but I don't know how to dance well.
Oh, the square dancing was fantastic. Very entertaining and very exercising.
Passing right shoulders, do-si-do, walk forward, do-si-do, back to back, face to the center.
Well, the folks who put this together have been playing host to UN families for several years. They say it's a great way for new visitors to get a taste of the United States, and they say especially to experience a New Jersey town.
And that's Eyewitness News. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rolanda Watts.
I'm John Marler. We're all back tonight after the final game of the World Series.